Let me tell you what's not going to fix your finances: vision boards, manifestation, abundance mindset, positive affirmations, or any other magical thinking garbage that gurus sell you for $997. What is going to fix your finances? Math, discipline, and 30 days of being willing to feel uncomfortable. That's it. That's the whole secret. There's no hack, there's no loophole. There's no way to get rich quick or debt free overnight, but there is a way to stop the bleeding, to stop the financial hemorrhaging that's happening every single month, where money comes in and immediately flows back out to banks, credit card companies, car dealerships, landlords, and every other entity that's got their hands in your pocket. And if you can stop the bleeding, if you can just pause the damage for 30 days, you can actually see what's happening. You can assess the situation and you can start building something real instead of just treading water while pretending you're swimming. Here's the thing nobody wants to hear. Um, you're probably not having a bad month. You're not temporarily broke until the next paycheck. You're not just going through a rough patch. You're structurally, systematically, fundamentally broke. And the reason you're broke isn't because you don't make enough money. The average household income in America is $83,730 a year. That's nearly $7,000 a month. That should be enough. But the average American also carries $104,755 in total debt. Car payments averaging $748 a month for 69 months at 6.56% interest. Credit card balances contributing to the collective $1.23 trillion Americans owe. Mortgages that eat up 30% to 50% of monthly income. You're not broke because you don't earn enough. You're broke because you're spending more than you earn, and you've been doing it for so long that it feels normal. It feels like this is just how life works, but it's not. This is how broke works. And if you want to stop being broke, you need a hard reset. Day one of the hard reset is going to suck. And I'm not going to lie to you about that. Day one is when you look at everything, not the sanitized version you tell yourself, not the it's not that bad version, everything. You're going to log into every bank account, every credit card account, every loan account, every payment app, every subscription service, everything. And you're going to write it all down: what you owe, what the interest rates are, what the minimum payments are, what the due dates are. You're going to look at your last 3 months of bank statements and credit card statements, every single transaction, and you're going to categorize where your money actually goes, not where you think it goes, where it actually goes. And this is going to be uncomfortable. This is going to be the financial equivalent of stepping on a scale after avoiding it for 3 years. You're going to see numbers that make your chest tight. You're going to want to close the browser and pretend you never started this, but you need to see it. You need to know exactly how bad it is because you can't fix what you won't acknowledge. Day 2 through 7 is about stopping the bleeding, literally stopping the outflow of money to things that don't matter. And before you say everything matters, no, it doesn't. You're going to go through every subscription, every auto payment, every monthly charge, and you're going to ask one question: if I cancel this today, what actually changes in my life? Netflix? Nothing changes. You'll be bored for 2 weeks and then you'll find something else to do. Spotify Premium? You'll listen to ads. That's it. That's the sacrifice. The meal kit service? You'll buy groceries like a normal person. The gym membership you haven't used in 4 months? Gone. The premium phone plan with unlimited everything? Downgraded. The car insurance on the luxury tier? Downgraded to the legal minimum. I know this feels petty. I know you're thinking this is only going to save me $200 a month. That's not going to solve anything. You're right. It's not going to solve anything, but it's going to stop making it worse. And right now, stopping the bleeding is the entire goal. Day 8 through 14 is the hardest part because this is when you stop doing the things that feel like living. No eating out, not once, not even for coffee, not even because you had a hard day, not even because your friend is in town, not even because it's someone's birthday. You eat food from your house for 7 days straight. No online shopping, not Amazon, not Target, not the thing you've had in your cart for 2 weeks, nothing. No driving unless it's required for work or actual emergencies. No going to the store because you're bored. No browsing, no retail therapy, no just looking. You stay home, you use what you have, you get comfortable with being bored, and this is where most people quit because this is where you realize how much of your spending is just emotional regulation. You're stressed, so you order takeout. You're bored, so you browse Amazon. You're sad, so you go shopping. You're anxious, so you buy coffee. You've been medicating your feelings with spending. And when you stop spending, you have to actually feel those feelings. And it's uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, but it's also clarifying because you start to see that you don't actually need most of the things you thought you needed. You just needed the dopamine hit of buying them. Day 15 through 21 is when you build the plan. Now that you know what you owe, what you earn, and what you actually need to spend to survive, you can see the gap. And there are only three ways to close the gap: earn more, spend less, or some combination of both. Let's start with spend less because that's the one you have immediate control over. You're going to build a bare bones budget, and I mean bare bones: housing, utilities, minimum debt payments, groceries, gas for required driving, and nothing else. No restaurants, no entertainment budget, no miscellaneous, no buffer for life happens. Just the absolute minimum to keep the lights on and the debt collectors away. Write that number down. Now look at your income. If your income is higher than that bare bones number, congratulations, you have money to allocate. Every single dollar above bare bones goes to one of two places: a $1,000 emergency fund if you don't have one, or the smallest debt you have. Not the highest interest debt, not the largest debt, the smallest one, because you need a psychological win. You need to see something go to zero. You need proof that this is actually working. Now let's talk about earning more, because this is where it gets real. You probably need more income, not because you're bad with money, but because the math doesn't work. If you're making $40,000 a year and you owe $60,000 in debt, you can be as frugal as you want, and it's going to take a decade to dig out. You need more money coming in. So, day 15 through 21 is also when you audit your income situation with complete honesty. Can you get a raise at your current job? Can you switch to a higher paying job in your field? Can you pick up a side hustle? Can you sell stuff you own? And before you say you don't have time for a side hustle, let me ask you this: how much time did you spend on your phone last week? Scrolling Instagram, watching TikTok, browsing Reddit, watching YouTube? That's your side hustle time. You have the time. You've just been spending it on things that generate $0. I'm not saying you need to work yourself to death. I'm saying that for the next 6 months, for the next year, while you're in crisis mode, you might need to do things that aren't fun. Drive for Uber on Saturday mornings, deliver food 3 nights a week, freelance your skills, sell your stuff on Facebook Marketplace, whatever it takes to generate an extra $500 or $1,000 a month, because that extra money is what's going to change the trajectory. Day 22 through 30 is about proving to yourself that you can actually do this. You've stopped the subscriptions. You've stopped the emotional spending. You've gone 3 weeks without eating out. You've built the budget. You've maybe even generated some extra income. Now you execute. Every dollar gets allocated before you spend it. Every purchase gets questioned. Every time you want to break the plan, you look at the number you wrote down on day one, the total debt number, and you ask yourself if this purchase is worth staying in debt longer. And most of the time, the answer is no. Most of the time, the thing you want isn't worth another month of being broke, another month of being stressed, another month of being trapped. By day 30, you should have either $1,000 in an emergency fund or one small debt paid off completely. And that might not sound like much. It might feel insignificant compared to the mountain of debt you're staring at, but it's proof. Proof that the system works. Proof that you can do hard things. Proof that you're not permanently broken. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen during these 30 days that nobody warns you about. People are going to judge you. Your friends are going to invite you out and you're going to say no, and they're going to think you're being weird or cheap or flaky. Your family is going to ask why you're not coming to the expensive dinner, and you're going to have to either lie or tell them you're broke. And both options suck. Your coworkers are going to go to lunch and you're going to sit at your desk eating last night's leftovers, and you're going to feel left out. Your partner, if you have one, is going to get frustrated that you're suddenly being so strict about money. Social media is going to show you everyone else living their best life while you're at home eating rice and beans and canceling subscriptions. And your brain is going to scream at you that this isn't fair, that you work hard, that you deserve to enjoy your life, that being this restrictive is miserable. And you're right. It is miserable. But you know what's more miserable? Being $104,755 in debt, making a $748 car payment every month for 69 months, owing $1.23 trillion collectively as a society to credit card companies, living paycheck to paycheck despite making $83,730 a year. That's more miserable. You just don't notice it as much because it's stretched out over years instead of concentrated into 30 days. Here's what the hard reset is actually doing: it's breaking the cycle of unconscious spending. Most people live their entire financial lives on autopilot. Money comes in, money goes out. They never question it, they never examine it. They just keep making payments and hoping it gets better. The hard reset forces you to be conscious, to be intentional, to see every dollar and decide where it goes instead of watching it disappear and wondering where it went. And once you see it, once you're actually aware of the pattern, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to autopilot. You'll start to notice when you're about to emotionally spend, you'll catch yourself reaching for your wallet to solve a feeling. You'll question purchases you would have made automatically before. And that awareness, that consciousness is what actually changes your financial trajectory, not the budget, not the plan, the awareness. Let me also tell you what the hard reset is not. It's not a permanent lifestyle. You're not going to live like this forever. You're not joining a monastery. You're not taking a vow of poverty. This is crisis intervention. This is financial triage. You're stopping the catastrophic bleeding so you can stabilize the patient. Once you're stable, once you have the emergency fund and you've paid off some debt and you've proven you can control your spending, you can loosen up. You can build in some entertainment money. You can go out to eat occasionally. You can enjoy your life. But right now, today, if you're reading this and nodding along because your financial situation is a disaster, you're not in a position to enjoy your life anyway. You're in a position to be stressed constantly while pretending everything's fine. The hard reset just makes the stress concentrated and productive instead of chronic and useless. Here's the brutal truth about the 30-day hard reset: it only works if you actually want it to work. If you're reading this looking for permission to keep spending, to keep living normally, to keep pretending you're not broke, you're not going to find it here. If you're looking for a magic trick that lets you have everything you want without sacrifice, that doesn't exist. What exists is math. You earn X, you spend Y, and if Y is bigger than X, you go into debt. The hard reset makes Y smaller than X for 30 days so you can see what that feels like. So you can prove to yourself that you can do it. So you can build momentum. But it requires you to actually want to change, to actually be done with being broke, to actually be willing to be uncomfortable for a month in exchange for maybe being free in a few years. And let's talk about what comes after the 30 days, because the reset is just the beginning. After 30 days, you've built the habit, you've proven it's possible, you've got some momentum. Now you keep going. You take that bare bones budget and you live on it for 6 months, a year, however long it takes to get out of debt. You keep the subscriptions canceled. You keep eating at home. You keep saying no to expensive things. You keep the side hustle going. You take every extra dollar and you attack the debt, smallest to largest, one at a time until they're gone. And this is going to take longer than 30 days. It's going to take longer than you want it to. If you're $50,000 in debt, it might take 3 years. If you're $100,000 in debt, it might take 5 years or more. But here's the thing, those years are going to pass anyway. You can spend the next 5 years making minimum payments and staying broke, or you can spend the next 5 years being intentional and disciplined and uncomfortable and actually getting free. The time is going to pass either way. The only question is what you're going to have to show for it. The final thing I need you to understand about the hard reset is that it's going to reveal who you actually are versus who you've been pretending to be. If your entire personality is built on consumption, on having the right stuff and going to the right places and looking the right way, the reset is going to feel like an identity crisis because you're going to have to stop performing. You're going to have to just be yourself without the props. And that's terrifying, but it's also liberating because you're going to find out that the people who only liked you for your stuff weren't actually your friends. And the life you were living to impress other people wasn't actually your life. And the person you are without all the spending and performing and pretending might actually be someone you like better. Someone who's building something real instead of just looking like they have something real. So here's your choice. You can close this video and go back to normal, keep making the payments, keep being broke, keep pretending everything's fine while your chest tightens every time you check your bank account. Keep telling yourself you'll fix it later, after the next raise, after this thing is paid off, after things calm down. Or you can do the hard reset, 30 days of being uncomfortable, 30 days of saying no, 30 days of facing the actual numbers instead of avoiding them, 30 days of stopping the bleeding so you can finally start healing. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to work. And working is better than comfortable. Results are better than excuses. Freedom is better than looking like you're free while actually being trapped. Stop trying to look rich. Start getting free.